There's no doubt that many people in our world are looking to become more attractive. One direct way to improve appearance and health is by building muscle. However, not everyone is willing to commit to exercising or watching their diet to achieve their ideal look. Because of this, some people choose to take shortcuts, ending up with fake muscles that went horribly wrong. And that's exactly what you're going to see here today. So, hit that like button, subscribe below, and let's dive in. In Pakistan, a man named Arbab Kaiser Hayat, better known as Khan Baba, is gaining attention on social media for his controversial claims of strength and massive muscles. Supposedly weighing 436 kilograms and standing 1.90 meters tall, he claims to be the strongest man in the world, but his feats are raising doubts and getting mocked. At just 25 years old, Khan Baba says he can stop tractors and cars from moving just with his hands. He even claims to have lifted 5,000 kilograms in a competition in Japan, a record he swears no one will ever break. Despite his claims, many question the truth behind his feats, especially since he wears outrageously large clothes that exaggerate his appearance, making it look like he's stuffed with balloons or pillows. While some people in his town consider him a hero, others see him as a walking joke. The truth about Khan Baba and his superpowers remains to be fully uncovered, but it's easy to imagine that his claims, and even videos where he supposedly demonstrates his superhuman strength, have all been artificially staged. The worst part? His biggest achievement, the weightlifting in Japan, has never been proven. There's not a single video of him lifting 5,000 kilograms. Whatever the truth may be, there's no denying that Khan Baba draws a lot of attention wherever he goes, flaunting his so-called muscles that went horribly wrong. A few years ago, a man from João Pessoa in Brazil became famous on social media for trying to imitate Rambo. In his quest to achieve the surreal physique of the iconic Sylvester Stallone, this guy ended up going overboard with anabolic steroids. This Brazilian Rambo isn't nearly as strong as Sylvester Stallone's character. On the contrary, his inflated arms are swollen from too much oil, looking like huge bags of infection. The photos circulating online show distorted biceps that appear almost melted, grotesquely hanging from his arms. Men like him inject a dangerous substance into their arms, hoping to gain muscle faster. This concoction consists of oil, anesthetic, and alcohol. But as you can see, contrary to what they hope for, these fake muscles don't bring real strength, nor do they attract women's admiration. Instead, this practice poses serious health risks, potentially leading to severe consequences for their muscles, nerves, and even their overall circulatory system. Despite everything, Brazilian Rambo seems pretty satisfied with his melted muscles. Otherwise, he wouldn't be posing for these photos, right? The last news we had about him was that he was working in construction. The cameraman, obviously being sarcastic, claims he's the strongest man in João Pessoa, but in the video, Rambo doesn't seem too excited. Practically ignoring the camera, he doesn't strike the poses he used to. Perhaps he regrets getting those fake muscles that went wrong, but it's too late to turn back now. So here's a warning: never do something like this that a real doctor wouldn't advise. Candace Armstrong, a bodybuilder from London, went through an extreme transformation in her life due to reckless steroid use. However, this transformation wasn't the kind she expected. It all started when she hit the gym, determined to improve her physique. Back then, Candace was an attractive blonde woman, but in her quest for more muscle, she started using substances, thinking she could take easier shortcuts. Although steroids helped her achieve that goal, the side effects were devastating. Her body underwent such drastic changes that today she is mistaken for a man. She developed facial hair, broad shoulders, and even a mini penis of nearly 3 centimeters, a result of one part of her female anatomy swelling excessively and irreversibly. Beyond the physical changes, Candace completely lost her desire to engage in relationships, and her self-esteem plummeted. Now, she avoids women's bathrooms and dresses like a man to avoid being mistaken for a drag queen. Even with the chaotic effects, Candace admits that she remains addicted to steroids and bodybuilding, training for hours every day. She even vented that she hates looking like a man, and her overall situation has worsened, yet she can't seem to shake her addictions. One of the most ridiculous cases in the pursuit of the perfect body that caught a lot of attention was that of Darren Lions, a former mayor of Geelong, Australia, who decided he wanted a six-pack without breaking a sweat at the gym. Lions, known for his extravagant lifestyle, opted for body contouring surgery, known as Vassar liposuction, which promised to define his muscles effortlessly. The procedure, which cost thousands of dollars, involved inserting a metal tube into his abdomen to eliminate fat and sculpt his muscles. The result was a falsely defined abdomen surrounded by layers of fat. Even though the procedure created the illusion of some muscles, it looked extremely artificial, like someone had stuck fake abs on a tank. Despite the evident lack of naturalness, Lions flaunted his new look on TV shows and events, but the reception was far from positive. Criticism poured in from all sides, with many questioning the authenticity of his transformation and even mocking his appearance. Despite everything, Darren Lions has always been a very controversial figure. With his extravagant style, he gained popularity as a bold paparazzi, but this time, the tables turned on him when he made headlines worldwide, becoming a subject of ridicule. In Lyon's case, the negative critiques don't seem to have impacted his self-esteem much, but for someone else, it could have terrible emotional and psychological consequences. So here's a reminder to always think twice before undergoing irreversible procedures like this. The quest for the perfect body led Shatarka Newby, 31, down a one-way street. In a desperate attempt to shape her body, she turned to O'Neill Ron Morris, a fake doctor who became known as the Toxic Butt Doctor. Morris, operating in Florida, USA, offered underground cosmetic procedures using absurd materials like shoe glue, cement, and even tire sealant. Her patients became practically unrecognizable after the surgeries. Between 2007 and 2010, Newby paid around $2,000 to Morris for injections that promised to increase the size of her butt, thighs, and hips. What she didn't know was that these procedures would cost her life. After the injections, Newby began noticing hardened and discolored skin in the treated areas. Her condition worsened until in 2012, she died from complications related to this horrific procedure. Morris, who performed these surgeries without any medical license, was sentenced to 10 years in prison for involuntary manslaughter, where there was no intent to kill. During the trial, Newby's mother described her daughter's death as the most inhumane possible, while other witnesses reported using cotton balls and superglue to seal the injection sites. The victims, as well as the general public, were outraged, crying out for justice, claiming that Morris's sentence was too lenient. But no matter how much she pays, it will never bring Newby back. A man who dreamed of having defined abs but didn't want to spend hours at the gym made an unusual decision. Surprisingly, in just 2 days, he achieved the coveted six-pack on his belly. However, the way he got those muscles sparked some controversy online. Instead of receiving praise, people began to ridicule him. Dean Gunther, a renowned tattoo artist, shared the story on social media. He revealed that his client had tried everything to get the abs of his dreams, but without success. That's when he decided to turn to ink. In just 2 days, Gunther drew a set of perfect muscles, ready for summer. The video of the process posted on social media quickly went viral, racking up over 800,000 views. However, instead of admiration, the tattoo received an avalanche of criticism. In the comments, users said things like this tattoo was one of the biggest mistakes someone could make in life, or that the guy would definitely regret those fake muscles in the future. Despite the backlash, Gunther defended his work, claiming that the drawing was real and that he had done exactly what his client wanted. It's common for people to have biases against tattoos. In the past, they were associated with prison and marginalized individuals. However, nowadays, tattoos are gaining acceptance in society. What the tattoo artist doesn't seem to realize is that people weren't criticizing tattoos in general, but the questionable anatomy he left on his client. The quest for the perfect body led a young model down a truly terrifying path. Mia Mafia, who is also an actress, nearly lost her life after her butt implants simply exploded. At 26 years old, Mia had already undergone various plastic surgeries to achieve curves similar to those of celebrities like Kim Kardashian. However, her desire almost ended in tragedy. After the incident, she was rushed to the hospital, where she was able to reverse the situation with new procedures. But the scare wasn't enough to stop the model. Instead, she decided to go even further in her pursuit of the ideal body. Now, Mia plans to insert hip implants made of PMMA, a glass-like material, at a clinic in Colombia. Even faced with criticism and risks, Mia seems to have made up her mind. She stated that every surgery comes with risks, but she doesn't care as long as she achieves the desired aesthetic. Despite Mia being quite reckless, having already gone through a totally negative experience with fake muscles, let's hope she at least finds serious doctors willing to perform these procedures as safely as possible. Otherwise, the hospital might not be able to help her in time like they did last time. Kual Terin, better known as Popeye Russo, has drawn much attention for his bizarre muscle appearance. However, recently he made headlines again for a much more urgent and dangerous reason. At just 24 years old, Terin decided to enter the world of MMA. The problem is that his fight had to be interrupted when one of his biceps literally exploded from all the substances he injected into his arm. During the fight, Kual's arm started leaking oil, highlighting the severity of the situation. After the incident, he was rushed to the hospital where doctors informed him that his life was in danger. The Vaseline he used to inflate his muscles began to penetrate the tissues and affect his blood flow, causing infections and intense pain. Fortunately, the doctors were able to save his arms and his life. After removing a good portion of the substance from his arms, he is back on social media, showcasing a new phase that is also attracting attention. Recovered and full of energy, Kual is now looking for a new love, and he doesn't want just anyone. In a video posted on Instagram, the influencer made it clear that he seeks a partner with perfect curves and skin free of cellulite. Moreover, to win Popeye Russo's heart, the candidate must have well-groomed hair and, in his own words, without an unpleasant dandruff smell. With his arms now measuring 60 centimeters thanks to synthol injections, Kual Terin considers himself handsome and calls himself a professional bodybuilder. Thus, he won't accept a partner who isn't equally beautiful and healthy. The irony of these statements spread like wildfire on social media, with users pointing out that Popeye Russo must be joking. However, he seems quite serious in his quest for the ideal love. Time will tell if this supposed perfect candidate will find him as attractive as he believes he is. Valdir Sagato, known as the Brazilian Hulk from Ribeirão Preto, São Paulo, became a true internet sensation due to his gigantic muscles, resulting from his reckless use of synthol. Despite having over 1.5 million followers on social media, Valdir lived in isolation in a humble home with few close friends and rarely talked to neighbors. His obsession with bodybuilding and steroid use, however, unfortunately ended in tragedy. At just 55 years old, the influencer passed away very young after becoming ill at home. He complained of shortness of breath and, in desperation, knocked on a neighbor's window for help. Unfortunately, despite being rushed to an emergency unit, the Brazilian Hulk couldn't survive and passed away shortly after arriving. Valdir had already admitted to using synthol, a dangerous substance that creates the illusion of large muscles without any real strength gain. Despite knowing the risks, Valdir continued using this substance, aiming for biceps measuring 68 centimeters in diameter. The price of this obsession, however, was far too high. Romario dos Santos Alves, at 25 years old, nearly lost his arms after using synthol in his quest for gigantic muscles. He also gained worldwide fame due to his disproportionate aesthetics, becoming known as the Brazilian Hulk. He injected a dangerous mixture of oil, analgesics, and alcohol into his muscles. Obsessed with looking like the Hulk, a comic book monster of superhuman proportions, the young Brazilian risked his life in search of an impressive muscular body. It all started when Romario was introduced to a dangerous substance, a mixture of oil, analgesics, and alcohol that no reputable doctor would authorize a patient to use. Obsessed with resembling the Hulk, Romario was starting down a path of no return. The result was frightening. His biceps reached 63 centimeters in diameter. However, the price was steep. Not only did his body become disproportionate, looking like he stuffed water balloons under his skin, but his muscles also began to solidify, turning into rocks inside his body. The situation became so critical that doctors considered amputating his arms. Romario faced intense pain and the risk of kidney failure due to the toxins present in the injected oil. Fortunately, as a last resort, doctors managed to remove the hardened masses, saving his limbs. Today, Today, Romario deeply regrets his choices. He went through tough times, including depression and dark thoughts. Although he has abandoned synthol use, the temptation to use dangerous substances still haunts him. Therefore, instead of spending too much time at the gym, he tries to dedicate his time to a new passion, his recently acquired barbershop. Ronnie Rono, a bodybuilding enthusiast from Kenya, paid the highest price for seeking bigger muscles dangerously. After injecting a suspicious substance, possibly synthol, his arms and chest began to swell uncontrollably, leading to a series of health complications that culminated in his death at the age of 30. Ronnie, who lived in the town of Kericho, began noticing swelling in 2016. What started as a slight increase in volume in his right arm soon spread to the left and eventually to his chest. In recent years, he struggled with constant pain, experiencing difficulty breathing and extreme fatigue that often left him bedridden. Unable to work, Ronnie lost his job and was abandoned by his wife. It was during this time that images of him began circulating online, as he desperately sought donations from internet users in hopes of raising enough money for surgery to save him. Unfortunately, by the time he began receiving treatment, it was too late. Despite denying the use of synthol, Ronnie admitted that his past filled with alcohol and intense workouts at gyms in Nairobi might have clouded his memory. Imagine reaching the point of not remembering whether you injected a substance like that or not. That was the condition he was in before he passed away. Unfortunately, even though we often believe that joining a gym can be a healthy choice, there are wrong and dangerous things in every area of our lives, and Ronnie Rono was yet another of its fatal victims. Mustafa Ismail, known as the Popeye of Egypt, shocked many when he was recognized by the Guinness World Records as having the largest biceps and triceps in the world, measuring 78.7 centimeters in circumference. Some of the audience was frightened by this superhuman feat, while others simply couldn't believe that a serious entity like Guinness could award this title to someone who clearly boasts fake muscles. Endocrinology and plastic surgery specialists doubt that such size is possible without the use of enhancements like anabolic steroids or even prosthetics. The unusual shape of Ismail's muscles raises further suspicions, suggesting that something artificial might be behind his record appearance. The use of steroids and prosthetics can cause a range of health problems, from severe infections to multiple organ failure. Doctors warn that excessive muscle enlargement does not confer real strength, and the side effects can be devastating, including heart and liver problems. And of course, the worst consequence of all, the death of those who use these substances. Although no one has yet proven that Mustafa has fake muscles, anyone who looks at him and takes a moment to analyze him can easily come to this conclusion. The outrage among true bodybuilding enthusiasts around the world was so great that after 3 years, Guinness finally spoke out and revoked Mustafa Ismail's title. He protested, claiming he dedicated himself to achieving his muscles, which are completely real. However, the doubt remains. Perhaps as big as his arms are the questions surrounding what motivated Guinness to grant the title to the Egyptian Popeye and spark this entire controversy. Don't forget to subscribe to watch more videos like this.